Welcome to the ADF Active podcast, Setting Up for Success. My name's Amelia and I'll be talking to Nikki, our sports nutritionist expert, Alexa, a personal trainer extraordinaire, and Monique, a physical training instructor from the Air Force. Today we're going to be talking about getting in the mindset to become the best you can be. We'll cover training your brain, countering negative thoughts, and believing in yourself. We'll also talk about goal setting and managing your ambitions. Nikki, Alexa, Monique, thank you all for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's good to be here.
So we do hear a lot about the mental side of achieving success in physical activities such as professional sports. Every footy club now employs sports psychologists to help give players an even stronger will to win. So what can I learn from this as I work on getting fit enough for my pre-entry fitness assessment, Monique?
Yeah, so being mentally fit is really important in a number of ways. Having the ability to motivate yourself, pushing through the tough times or being able to face adversity, and dealing with setbacks is probably one of the hardest things to be able to see, success. So, with the weeks and months ahead and using the ADF app to help guide you to look towards the goal, not look at the past. Have that, to go sort of mentality and the will to succeed. So improve on your willpower muscle.
So can I actually change the way my brain works to help me with all this?
Absolutely, you can. In fact, the process is called neuroplasticity. This is the brain's ability to reorganise itself and adapt to new situations. So by building new neural connections, in less technical terms, it's like training your brain, just like we train our biceps in the gym. We all used to be told that the adult brain is pretty much fixed, but it's not. You can change the way you think and develop, and it happens during your lifetime. You can kill off some cells by consuming alcohol and other substances, but, with the right training, you can grow and train areas of your brain.
Alexa, do you have any input?
Yeah, look, I think training your brain is exactly the same as training your body. When you're training a new exercise in the gym, it's about building those new connections so that you're able to do an exercise properly, teaching the muscles to fire in the right sequence at the right time. It's exactly the same with your mental processes. Maybe failure isn't failure, it's an opportunity to learn. One of my favourite sayings is that a setback is just a setup for a comeback. So I think building resilience is not just about physical, it's also about mental aptitude as well.
And Nikki, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. For me personally, getting back into the fitness arena about 8 years ago, it definitely wasn't a physical thing. The physical benefits came with the package of getting back into regular fitness and feeling good about myself. So I was there for my brain originally, and it did. It helped me develop and focus that belief in myself. And I think that's a huge thing. You've got to believe in yourself, and you really do have to practice that. It's not something that comes easily. And the more you practice self-belief and self-love, I honestly believe that you will progress and you will start to believe it.
So that's really, really great advice, Nikki, Alexa. Thanks for that. So mindfulness is one thing, but I can speak from experience. Meditation doesn't really work for everybody. What do you think, Monique?
I do agree that some people find it hard to, switch off, especially if you're in a high tempo environment and, if you work in the city as opposed to the country, and even, just trying to fall asleep. So, we have so many, thoughts and issues that, control our mind, that to try and just fall asleep at times, it takes you, generally 30 minutes to an hour, 2 hours at times. So being able to, perform acts of either informal mindfulness or meditation can enhance in that area, being grounded and, just having awareness of being able to just let go, instead of controlling. And if something is playing on your mind, then write it down. But it is worth giving it a proper go, even just deep breathing sorts of things to help, release that stress and anxiety, to better enhance your sleep, reducing fatigue and your performance the next day. Pretty robust research has shown that meditation can grow the areas of the brain responsible for memory, focus, empathy and productivity. So, it is beneficial to give it a go. Do it in the privacy of your own home. Go to a class and don't be concerned of what other people think or judgment. Okay. It's a win-win situation, and like I said, it can definitely help sleep problems. So the ADF Active app actually has guided meditation features on there. So, give it a go. Sit in your bedroom, in your office, shut the door, and just have a bit of 5-minute time out for your day.
Nikki and Alexa, you have a lot of clients and you meet a lot of people. And what are your and you can see that meditation doesn't work for everybody. What's your advice to your clients?
Yeah, I sort of always try and get my clients to give themselves time, allow themselves time to have mindfulness and quiet time. So for those that can't necessarily meditate, myself, I find it hard to meditate myself, but it's not that you should not try to meditate. I think it's really important to practice. Consistency is key. So for myself and my clients, I tell them, and I also try and do guided meditations or quiet time, stretching while there's some quiet, relaxing music on, things like that put you in that calm headspace and allow yourself to breathe properly. They're things to just keep practicing. It's like everything, training, eating well, or anything that you want to do. You've just got to be consistent and keep trying it until it becomes a bit more natural.
Right, Alexa, I can see you nodding as well.
Yeah, look, I'm exactly the same. I have a very active brain. I find it really difficult to switch off. I had sleep problems for a long time. And one of the first things that both a psychologist and a doctor recommended I do was meditation. But because I find it really difficult to do meditation where I have to control the meditative state, I find it much easier to listen to something like an ADF Active Act where it is about that guided meditation. It's somebody else telling you what to do, so it takes that element of control away. You just get to listen to the sound of somebody else's voice as they guide you through something that then calms you down. Even if it's just a breath sequence or even just a sequence of relaxing your muscles. I find that especially helpful for when I'm going to bed and trying to get to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really great advice. So I will give that a go, especially with the ADF Active app. So let's assume my memory is now better. I'm more focused, more productive, and I'm less stressed. So that's all good. But what about getting that positive mindset I need to succeed, Monique?
Yeah, well, that's where mindfulness comes in. And when we set a new goal or we go to an interview or we take an assessment, an annoying thing called your inner critic can get to work. This self-doubt gets inside your head and it tells you you're not actually up to the job or capable of succeeding. And these negative thoughts can really take hold and can be quite controlling. And it's actually quite, obviously at the time, unhelpful and very destructive. So you're more than likely to not follow through with, what your initial intent was. So, there is certain things that we can do to, either counteract it, deal with it, but being realistic optimism and, just give yourself a positive mantra, think positive, think of the good outcomes, and feel how good it will be if you get that job or once you pass your PFA. Let's think ahead as opposed to letting that little demon on the shoulder, take charge.
Okay, thanks, Monique. I think many of us know that feeling very well of having that demon on your shoulder. Alexa, so what's your advice on silencing your inner critic?
Look, I have a couple of really helpful tools and really simple ones that I use. We talked about meditation before and people think it's this big woo-woo concept that's really out there. Meditation is actually like one deep mindful breath. So something really simple that you can do, whether it be a job interview, whether it be a sports game, whether it be, a fitness test that you need to pass. It's all about visualizing a positive outcome. So acing that job interview, kicking the winning goal, scoring the winning try, passing the fitness test. That's just a really good, simple meditation. The other things you've got, I have a magnet on my fridge with a positive affirmation that is like, today is going to be a great day. And every time I go to the fridge, and I like food, so that's a lot, I see that mantra and it just reminds me that, there are good things in my day. It might not be the whole day, but there are certainly good aspects of it. And I also have a wristband that I wear that has like little mantras that I want to remember. Things for me, like with the mental health charity that I work with, it ain't weak to speak. So it's all about communicating my feelings and allowing myself to have a bad day. Sometimes that's just what you need to do.
Yeah, I guess we're all pretty hard on ourselves to be perfect. And what about you, Nikki?
Oh, absolutely. I've struggled with my depression and anxiety over the years, and it's one of those things that it used to be there all the time. So now it's rarely there, and it's something that I had to practice. Once again, it's a bit repetitive in that, but it's my sort of view on it is just do it, keep doing it. Right or wrong, doesn't matter, if you feel like you're going to fail or not going to fail. I sort of think, we often overthink things. No one's going to remember what you did or said this time tomorrow. So just do it with conviction, and own it. So it's that kind of mindset you get into in your head, and keep practicing that mindset, that strong feeling before you're about to do something like the job interview or the fitness test. Those sorts of things just come down to practice. So practice makes perfect, and I honestly believe if you just keep practicing, the mental focus and the strength does develop.
No, that's really wonderful advice, and I really will take it on board, especially as part of my training and preparing myself for the PFA. So I guess in terms of practicality, how do I do it in a practical term, Nikki?
Yeah, sure. I always sort of think you've got to be kind to yourself. So my favourite saying that I kind of have adapted, and it's my little mantra that I say all the time, especially when I'm finding things difficult and my inner critic is, rearing its ugly head, is I'm doing the best I can. So as long as you're doing the things that you set yourself up to do, so for success, your goals, and you've got things in place, don't be too hard on yourself. So have that self-compassion, and just let yourself know that I'm doing the best I can. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I often find too that, when you practice random acts of kindness towards other people as well, it makes you feel really good. Like even if that's remembering the name of your barista, walking down the street and smiling at someone. We had an initiative at a wellness day not so long ago where I went and bought a coffee, but I bought two. So I paid for the person's coffee behind me. And then they did exactly the same thing. And the baristas were like getting overwhelmed with just like, oh my God, all these people are being really kind. And because you're being kind, everybody else wants to be kind too. And before you know it, it's just a new movement. And that's something really cool to watch.
It brings about a really good feeling inside yourself. So I think that's what's important too, is if you feel good, you're actually you're
empowering other people
absolutely
to feel great too. And that's really important.
Yeah, it's kind of like going back to that saying of be the person that you needed, and really sharing that with the community around you. I guess we're so focused on the self that we forget that if we provide something to other people around us, it makes us feel good too,
Absolutely. It's that whole sharing a problem too. You share a problem, you half it, because you've allowed somebody else to experience that journey with you and contribute.
Yes, and it's especially around our discussion today as well. Like, I don't feel as alone. And I know that when you're training for your PFA, you would, especially if you're using the ADF Active app by yourself, like you do feel like you're alone. So it's great that we have, our panel of experts having our PTI here just to let you know, you've got to keep going and you're doing the right path. You're going down the right path and you're doing a great thing for yourself.
And you become a little bit more grateful as well.
Yeah, so that's another great segue about practicing gratitude. Alexa, I'll pass this on to you.
Look, I love gratitude. It's taken me a long time to get into it, but I find it really helpful, especially when it comes to sleeping, because it puts me in a positive mindset before I go to bed. So I've just developed a habit of writing down 10 things that I'm grateful for, even if they haven't happened yet. So it brings it back to that positive visualization of your goals as well. 3 things that I learnt that day, 1 thing that I did for somebody else that was really kind, and then 1 kind thing that somebody did for me. So again, it brings it back to a whole mindset of positivity and feeling good about yourself and your place in the world and what you're doing, that you are on the right path.
Look, it sounds a lot to me. Is it okay to be a little less driven? Alexa?
Yeah, look, I think sometimes having one huge goal with a big timeline can be really overwhelming for some people. So sometimes it's easier to break it down into baby steps. And I know Monique was talking to me earlier about a really clever little acronym that she uses.
Yeah, certainly, and that is called SMART goals. So SMART is broken down into 5 different elements, and the first one is S. So S stands for specific, and that is in this case it's your PFA. But let's be a little bit more specific about that. So you're struggling with your push-ups. Your goal is to make 4 push-ups. Okay, that's where the specificity comes into. M, okay, is meaningful or measurable. Okay, how does this relate back to you? How do you track that? So using the ADF app, you put in your data of how many repetitions you've done, and it'll assist you in being able to achieve those 4 push-ups. A is achievable, and that is 4 push-ups in 6 weeks. That is definitely achievable in this case. If you were looking at wanting to do 20 push-ups in 6 weeks, that could be a different kettle of fish. So let's stick to what your PFA requirements are. The R stands for realistic. Okay, and that is, again, we're looking at the 4 push-ups. It's realistic towards achieving your PFA requirements, and that will get you on track in regards to being able to pass that on the day. And T, lastly, is for time-based. So if you have 12 weeks, then that's your time. Or if you have 6 weeks, then you want to look at how do I progress my results of 4 push-ups in this amount of time. So again, it comes back to being realistic and setting yourself up for success in regards to setting yourself up for failure.
Look, I'll be honest, this is a lot to remember, so I'm hoping all of this information is written down somewhere, Monique.
Yes, look for a Setting Up for Success article on the app, and all the goal-setting options are listed there.
We're on the subject of goals now. When's a good time to set goals? Traditionally, it's the new year, isn't it?
Traditionally, yes. Are they successful? 99% of the time, not really. So any time is a good time to start a goal. You could be saving for a holiday and, that would be, all right, I need to start, putting $10 away every week. You want to, lose so many kilos. You want to go and run a marathon. You can set a goal at any time of the year, any day, any time. It is totally up to you.
Alexa, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I think we have this huge mindset that we have to have a special occasion to start something new, when in fact we just need to change the way we think about it and change our mindset to know that, we can choose to be motivated and disciplined enough to achieve whatever we want to achieve whenever we want to achieve it. It should be motivation enough for you that you're not where you want to be to set it up. And, research shows that people who can motivate themselves or who can have the discipline themselves within themselves as opposed to using external motivators are more successful in the long term.
I absolutely agree. I think there's no right time. I think any time is a good time to start a new goal or start yourself onto success for what you're planning on doing. For example, my clients may want to lose weight and sort of fix up their eating habits. So, I think start now, start today. If you don't have the right equipment, then let's start tomorrow. Let's go out, do a shop, make sure that we've got the right foods. We've got a meal plan. We know what we're cooking. We know what we're eating. These are the sorts of things that you need to put in place before you start. But there's really no time like the present to get started.
And on that, it's for people who are listening to this podcast, right now is the time to think about your goal of passing the PFA and getting your dream job. Isn't that right, Monique?
That's exactly right. And if you, with the ADF, some things are unpredictable. So you could, say, I'll start my training in a week's time. You could have a phone call tomorrow, that will say, well, your enlistment date is in 2 weeks' time. So there's never a better time than now. And if you leave it up to someone else, you lose ownership and control of your actions and your thoughts and abilities. So we want to take that control back, and we want to have ownership over our own training, over our own lifestyle, as opposed to leaving it up to somebody else.
Good advice. So this has really got me thinking about my own goals, guys. So thank you so much for talking to us, Monique, Alexa, Nikki. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more podcasts as you go through your ADF Active training program.